Coming up on UCF Nightly News, find out what award the UCF Lead Scholars Program is being presented.
And Tanisha Breidenbeck joins us at the desk to discuss how now interim president Thad Seymour Jr.
And hear what UCF is changing about this year's Universal Nights ticket distribution.
And in sports, find out about the men's and women's basketball teams and their NCAA tournament games.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to UCF Nightly News. I'm Haley Rowland.
And I'm Jeremy Brenner. Today is Friday, March 22nd, 2019.
It looks like UCF Interim President Thad Seymour Jr. will keep his new position for a little longer. The UCF Board of Trustees voted whether or not to make Seymour the long-term interim president. Nightly News reporter Aaron Harris has more on what happened at that meeting.
The Board of Trustees unanimously voted Thad Seymour Jr. as UCF's long-term interim president yesterday. The board picked Seymour to serve as short-term interim president back in February after former President Dale Whitaker's resignation.
I have a very clear job, which is to help us in this period of time to get through, apply some of the learning from what has happened, and help navigate through these waters to get us to a place where we can recruit one of the top leaders in the country.
Florida's Board of Governors has to confirm the BOT's decision. They will consider it at their next meeting next week. Seymour says he will not be a candidate in the new president search. Chairman Robert Garvey says he hopes to begin the president search in the fall and to have a new president by early 2020. The board unanimously voted to give former President Whitaker a $600,000 settlement. The money won't be coming from the university. It'll be funded by private non-state dollars. And the board says that former President Whitaker accepted his settlement terms. However, the board also voted to not grant former President Hitt 3 performance payments. It includes 1 suspended payment and 2 future payments. Assistant Vice President Chad Bennett says one of those payments was previously suspended because of the misuse of funds. In Orlando, Aaron Harris, UCF Nightly News.
And Seymour says the next step for UCF is finding a permanent president and interim CFO. He says the board is looking to interview candidates outside of the university.
The United Faculty of Florida at UCF made a breakthrough during their negotiations for faculty contracts. The UFF bargained a 4.5% raise for the next 2 years. The UFF says faculty will get a one-time payment of $2,250 in May. Faculty will see the raise added to their base in 2 parts, first in August and next in September.
Last week, UCF's Lead Scholars Academy won the 2019 Outstanding Leadership Program of the Year award. Lead Scholars is a 2-year leadership development program for first-time college students. The award is presented by the National Association of Student Personnel Administrators, an organization that chooses the winner from over 14,000 campuses in 25 different countries. The award was given to UCF's LEAD program based on 2 main characteristics: 1, its hybrid curriculum, and 2, the volunteer program. Director of Lead Scholars Stacy Malloret says that last year LEAD students completed over 18,000 hours of volunteer work.
So our motto is to learn, to lead, and to serve. So we're about learning about leadership, becoming a leader outside the classroom, and then giving back to the community.
UCF Lead Scholars hope the program will continue growing and reach more organizations through volunteering.
Pegasus Hotel construction is continuing on campus, despite UCF going through its misuse of funds investigation. The $48 million hotel was first agreed on by the Board of Trustees back in 2015. The funds for the hotel are privately funded and is a joint endeavor by the Devon Group, Dimitri Global, and Pinnacle Hotel. Interim President Thad Seymour Jr. had this to say about the construction of the hotel.
That's more of a public-private partnership, and so none of this was about ongoing projects and whether those would be affected. So those projects underway will continue on as is. I don't think any of this will change those.
The hotel is projected to open in early 2020 and will start taking reservations towards the end of this year.
Now, if you've been on campus these past few days, you may have noticed a few things missing. And if you guessed trees, you'd be right. Nightly News spoke with a UCF urban forester about recent tree removals and what it means for the campus. Just months before hurricane season, UCF's forestry team is rushing to get these trees out of the ground.
We are the Emergency Operating Center response team for all the debris on campus.
But it's not just the debris Gazika's crew is worried about.
So some of these trees have been here since UCF was built.
And these trees that have been here since the mid-1960s are starting to pose a problem.
The species of laurel oak is definitely our #1 tree that goes down during storms.
Gazika says that laurel oaks generally only live about 60 to 70 years. And now these historic trees are becoming a hazard on campus. So the majority of these hazardous trees are right in the heart of campus, close to Farrell Commons and near multiple walkways. And that's why over spring break, while students were gone, multiple contractors were out here removing these dead trees and giving the wood chips back to the Arboretum to reuse. But Gazika says the initial reactions to the trees being removed hasn't been all positive.
And a lot of the students will definitely disapprove and they'll voice their opinions.
But Gazika likes to call himself the friendly neighborhood urban forester. And when he gets backlash about removing these trees, he's actually happy about it.
Well, the pushback honestly is very welcome because it's showing me that the students really care about the larger trees on campus.
But for now, there aren't any more removals scheduled for the spring. In Orlando, Haley Rowland, UCF Nightly News. And again, Gazika says there won't be any more large trees removed this semester, but his department will be doing controlled burns around campus to prevent any wildfires from starting.
UCF is providing racial profiling training for its police officers. Last month, a new Stanford University study came out providing evidence of racial bias in police stops. The Stanford Open Policing Project looked at almost 100 million traffic stops between 2011 to 2017. The evidence showed that Black and Latino drivers were stopped more often than white drivers, based on less evidence of wrongdoing. UCF Police Chief Carl Metzger says the training provided by UCF is based on the idea of how to handle implicit bias.
All of us have implicit bias, and really that is the key, that usually it's something unconscious, and none of us would acknowledge it unless we had this training and were made aware of it.
Metzger hopes to continue to provide the training every 2 years to both new and returning officers.
UCF joined a new national initiative to help students land postgraduate jobs. The 3-year program called Bridging the Gap from Education to Employment will work with employers to teach students job-related skills. Nightly News reporter Abizola Adiemo tells us how one UCF alum used UCF resources to help her land a job.
Noor Hashim graduated from UCF with a finance degree in 2016. Hashim landed her first job as an accountant after only 2 months of the job search. She credits the opportunities from the College of Business to helping her land her job.
One of the things that helped me a lot was a lot of the different events that they held in the College of Business. You know, there were different ways to do a mock interview, you know, a lot of different ways to get an internship.
UCF's Career Services will help facilitate the new Building the Gap from Education to Employment initiative. The initiative aims to prepare students for careers after graduation. UCF will collaborate with employers to identify employer needs and students' weaknesses. University Innovation Alliance fellow Colin Byard says the most exciting part of this process is creating initiatives based off of students' experiences.
Student X shared this pain point, we've designed this thing, and then going back to that student and saying, hey, we designed this based on what you told us. Can you help us understand if this meets your needs and how this will support you and your journey here at UCF?
Career Services right here offers a job portal called Handshake, where students can look at different jobs in their field. UCF alumna Victoria Colello majored in interdisciplinary studies with a legal studies focus. She says she noticed a difference in the amount of professional opportunities for different majors.
If you are going to offer over 100 different majors and you are going to advertise all of these services, then the services should be applicable to all of the students.
Byard says UCF is still working to finalize the details of the initiative. In Orange County, Abisola Adeyemo, UCF Nightly News.
The Strata Education Network will fund the initiative with nearly $2.4 million, and it's expected that everything will be completed by December 2020. You know, it's been a pretty chilly morning today, but I don't know what the rest of the day is going to look like.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of hot, cold, rainy this week. Rachel, what do you have for the weather this week?
Thanks, Jeremy and Haley. Now, you guys are right. Started out pretty cold this morning, but it's gradually warming up throughout the day. Right now, we're about 77 degrees. We have a 44% chance of humidity, so it's kind of evening out with the cold weather. It doesn't feel as humid as it normally would on one of these days. And tonight, I meant for our we have a 10. I'm so sorry. We have a wind chill of about 10 miles per hour, so it's kind of feeling a little bit colder than it really is. But the sun is out, it's shining, it's a beautiful day to go out and do stuff. We'll have more for you in just a bit. Back to Jeremy and Haley.
Coming up next, Nightly News sat down with interim president Thad Seymour Jr. Find out what he said in this exclusive interview.
We'll see you when we get back. Nightly News reporter Tanisha Breidenbach spoke with Thad Seymour Jr. in his first interview since becoming long-term interim president. Here are some highlights and main points from the interview.
Congratulations on this new position. I know we kind of came into it under odd circumstances, but that being said, how do you like it being interim president, and do you see yourself continuing maybe to presidency for UCF?
Well, first of all, thank you. It's great to be here, and I feel really excited about what lies ahead. This is an amazing university that I've come to appreciate more and more every year I've been involved with it. And so the chance to play some part in helping its path forward is an honor. And I'm really optimistic about what lies ahead. It's been a hard few weeks and months, I think, for the university and for all of us here. But my job is to help us look ahead, and I've been really gratified by everybody's energy and enthusiasm and offers to help. And I think we've got a great team here of leaders, phenomenal student body, great faculty. The sky's the limit.
So that being said, do you plan on seeing yourself staying here in this position at UCF?
I've committed to serve as interim for as long as the board would like me to do that. And I've promised my wife that that won't be for too long.
So, due to moving forward and everything, are there any steps being taken to guarantee that something like this won't happen again? What is the school doing? I know the Board of Governors put a bill into pass, but anything that the school is doing? Yeah,
great question. We're doing a lot. In fact, we're committed to becoming a model within the university system on how you prevent something like this happening again. So it's a combination of new leadership. This revealed a lot of gaps in training of Board of Governors, Board of Trustees, senior leadership, and actually all employees on those things related to financial management and appropriate use of funds.
So will there be any limitations put on like the E&G funding, or any limitations for taking the, I guess, redistribution of the money from out of accounts?
Well, those restrictions existed already, and that's where we didn't follow those precisely. And so I think we don't need to change those restrictions. We just need to adjust our processes to make sure, and our decision making and our transparency to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And I think the Board of Governors is also going to work on how can they provide even more clarity and better oversight to the universities to make sure that we're all protected from this happening again.
And with that, is there anything else that you'd like to add that I may not have asked you?
No, thank you for all you're doing. And I am so inspired by our students and their passion for what they're doing, and their love for this university. And I'm committed to doing everything I can to make sure those experiences continue to be great. And as I said at the beginning, I don't think our future could be brighter. This place is going to continue to go great places.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
And we have Tanisha with us in the studio today to talk a little bit more about her interview. Tanisha, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
And Tanisha, what can you tell us about the interview with Seymour?
Well, first of all, Interim President Seymour insisted that we call him Thad. So Thad basically said, you know, he's here as long as UCF needs him. I interviewed him before it was announced that he was going to be our long-term interim president. Okay. And he said he plans on seeing it out through until we have the next president.
And obviously he was put in this position because of the Colburn Hall investigation and the aftermath of that. So what did he have to say about the Colburn Hall investigation specifically?
It was very quick and simple. He said basically we're at the end of the investigation with the Board of Governors, and right now he's just looking forward to moving UCF into a new endeavor to set it up for the state system.
And what did he say were maybe some other ways we could prevent a controversy like this happening again?
He said one of the ways that he plans on implementing something so that this doesn't happen again is to set, policies in place and give strict training to faculty and staff so that this doesn't happen again, and also to reinforce, and restate that we have a heavy whistleblower policy, and to use that if anything like this should ever come up again.
Okay.
And did he mention anything about the CFO and the VP of diversity and those searches and how that's going along?
So basically, as you know, we were in the middle of the VP investigation. And we had to stop due to the investigation. So far, he will ultimately make the final decision, but unfortunately, that's all the time I have right now. So if you want to hear more about the interview, tune into Nightly News on Monday after our webcast to see the extended interview, and you can see everything else we said in our interview.
All right, thanks for being with us today, Tanisha.
Thank you so much, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And next up on UCF Nightly News, find out how the weather looks for the next week.
And find out how one UCF organization is helping women with body image issues.
UCF students will be able to visit Universal Studios Islands of Adventure for free during Universal Nights. Tickets are available through in-person distribution as well as online. This is a change from last year when students could only get their tickets online. Students took to Twitter to discuss what they didn't like about the hybrid ticket retrieval system. Some students said the online option would not work and were kicked off of the site, but were able to get tickets at the CFE Arena. This year, the event will take place on April 7th from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m.
An interactive painting session focusing on body positivity is gaining many positive reactions. Sister to Sister hosted Your Body is Your Canvas Thursday at the Cypress Room Event Center. The event aimed to teach women about self-awareness and confidence when faced with life's challenges. Attendees watched Brene Brown's TED Talk on the power of vulnerability. Sister to Sister President Tanya Timmel says the organization incorporated painting to serve a greater purpose.
Why we combined them and connected the two is because hopefully is what I'm hoping that we can get out of this, is having them paint what they're feeling and paint about what's going on in their mental state now.
Says they also included glitter, stickers, and other crafts to add to the paintings. And attendees say they were given creative freedom to project their feelings onto the canvas. The organization hosts a variety of events aimed to support women and other minority groups on campus.
You know, Jeremy, we just heard from Rachel a few minutes ago that it's going to be a pretty nice day.
Yes, Rachel, will this weather continue throughout the week?
Thank you for asking, Jeremy. Yes, the weather is going to continue to be beautiful throughout the rest of the week. Starting out strong, Tallahassee, we have 72 degrees, Tampa 74, Miami 74, Orlando a little bit warmer at 76 degrees. Going up here a little bit north to Jacksonville, it's going to be a nice 75 medium temperature. And now for our lows, we have Miami at 62, a little bit hotter than the rest of the state, of course. Tampa's going to be 53. Orlando here at 54, stays pretty consistent. Jacksonville, of course, Tallahassee, upstate, 48 and 44 respectively, going to be a little bit cooler. And now for your 5-day forecast. Saturday, going to be a nice 76 degrees with a low of 55. No chance of rain throughout the first part of the week. Sunday, 77, low of 58. Getting a little bit warmer up to Monday with 81, and then a low of 55. 0 degrees as well. 0 chance of rain as well. All right, and then Tuesday, it's going to be 79 degrees with a low of 56. And Wednesday, it's going to be 70 degrees with a low of 55. 30 and 20% chances of rain. You could see that chance starts to go down as we get to the middle of the week. All right, it's a perfect weekend to go out and do stuff, be outside. We haven't gotten that chance in a while. If you want to go out, so just go out and enjoy the sun. All right, and that's it for what our week's going to look like. Back to Haley and Jeremy at the desk.
Thanks, Rachel. And coming up after the break, baseball starts conference play. Find out more about this weekend's series.
And we'll get you ready for UCS March Madness games.
Good afternoon, Knights fans. I'm Shania Richburg. I hope you all are ready because it's a big weekend for UCF sports. And that big weekend, starts tonight when women's basketball tips off in the NCAA tournament. The team comes in as a 12 seed, their highest seed ever, and will face 5 seed Arizona State. This is the first tournament game for the Knights since 2011, and let me tell you, they are looking for their first tournament win. The game will feature a lot of defense as both teams rank in the top 45 in points allowed. The Knights will again lean on all-conference first-teamer KK Wright, who averaged 18 points per game in the regular season. The Sun Devils finished the season ranked 22 in the AP poll and are led by senior forward Kiana Ibis. The game tips off at 7 p.m. in Coral Gables. And while the basketball teams are looking to extend their seasons, the baseball team is just getting started. After beating number 19 FSU in a midweek game, the Knights now hit the road for their first road series of the season against number 14 ECU. The Pirates, who were picked as the preseason favorite, has won 8 of their last 9 games. The Knights will send Chris Williams to the mound for the series opener. First pitch is set for 6:35. And that's all the time we have for sports. Back to you, Jeremy and Haley at the desk.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for right now. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can keep up with us during the week on YouTube or Facebook.
And if you have any story ideas, you can reach out to us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Go Knights! Charge on!